Good afternoon, my young friends and colleagues. It is my great pleasure to be here today, and I'd like to thank the Free Vietnamese Australian community of New South Wales for inviting me. But most importantly, thank you for being here. Thank you for sacrificing a beautiful Saturday afternoon to be here. Before I begin, I've just remembered something. When my biography was read, I assumed that it was pulled out from the internet, and I realized that there was a little bit of a change, a new detail that you all don't know about. So I thought I should correct it just for your information. About 6 months ago, I left the U.S. Navy, and I was sworn in as the new director for Borders and Maritime Security. This is again science and technology, but now I work for the Undersecretary of Homeland Security in the U.S. So I've left my beloved Navy, but I'll tell you a little bit later why, okay? Now, I was asked to tell you about my professional journey, how I got here, how I get to where I am, and to share with you some of the things, some of the lessons, some of the things that I picked up along the way. So let me begin from the beginning. As you heard from my biography, I came to the United States as a refugee at the end of the Vietnam War when I was 15. I started 10th grade in American high school. Then I went on to undergraduate and graduate school. Had I still been in Vietnam, I would have selected literature or liberal arts as my field, because my first love really is literature. I grew up dreaming of becoming a writer, a famous writer, of course. You know. But of course, when I got to the States as a teenager with basically no English proficiency, I had to give up that dream. I still remember when my father one day sat me down and calmly pointed out to me that maybe it's time that I had to reconsider my dreams, my goals. He pointed out gently that my English was almost non-existent, so my dream of becoming a writer would be a little bit far-fetched. And the other point is, since we were dirt poor as refugees, which means that my parents would be able to support me through college, he pointed out that obviously I would need very good grades, because my only hope is to get scholarship to go through college. And also, I would have to choose a field so that when I graduate, I would be able to find a job immediately so that I could repay student loans if I needed to take student loan. So all of that being said and done, I cried for days. But deep down, I realized that my father was right. And so I switched from literature to science and technology. I hated it. I thought that it was a death sentence to me, because I thought that it would stifle my creativity, you know. But that's the first point I'd like to make to you, is that, you know, in terms of creativity, you could be creative in any field. You don't have to be a writer. You don't have to be a poet to be creative. In my field, working in science and technology, it's a perfect way to utilize one's creativity or imagination. You know, when you do research, basically you apply scientific principles that you learn, but now you want to apply it into a new way to create something new. That's, you know, that certainly will be taxing your creativity or your imagination. My point here is keep your options open. Don't stick to one path because you strongly believe that that's the only path. You don't know until you try other things. And you know, in the end, after you try something new and it doesn't work out, you could always come back to your original plan, especially since we have the advantage of living in countries like Australia, like US, like Canada, where one could pursue one's dreams any way we want. So keep your options open. When I graduated from college, I headed straight to work for defense, US defense, because I wanted to pay back. I always felt so indebted to the soldiers, Vietnamese soldiers, American soldiers, those who kept me safe and free my first 15 years in Vietnam, and the American soldiers who continue to keep me safe and free in the United States. I wanted to serve them. I wanted to help them find the best tools, the best means, so that they could win and come home intact. It's also because of my past. Some of you might have heard my story. I still retain that memory with me all over the years. That specific time when I was around 7, 8 years old, maybe 10, my brother was a helicopter pilot in the Vietnamese Air Force. And during the peak of the Vietnam War, of course there were a lot of casualties back then. I remember standing at the gate waving goodbye to him as he just had a short holiday with us, and now he would have to go back into the war. I remember standing at the gate with tears streaming down my face, thinking that this might be the last time that I would ever see my brother again. And that's when I made a vow with myself. I had this dream, childish dream, that it had been a fairy with magic. The first thing I would do is to create this magical weapon, so powerful that my brother could use to win, and so that he could come home intact to me. I carried that dream with me into adulthood, and that's why when I graduated from college, that's what I wanted to do from day one, is to work for US Defense, because I wanted to help soldiers.